Okay. Hello. And welcome to the show, friends.
Is this the oldie hole, or is this it came from the internet?
This is I guess the Odie hole. But I didn't really think ahead to name it anything in particular. Whatever. Just me and Aquanaz were reading about this shit, and I thought, like, oh, I should stream it. Because that'd be funny.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Devil Man, welcome to the show.
Oh boy, we're streaming?
We're streaming about Lowtax. So I have figured out how to do it to where now... Hold on. Well, bam! There it is. And now, like... Now you get it all. And like...
You get what all?
Now you can... In the fucking, Wait, what did I do? Fuck.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. I did something wrong. Hold on. I can fix this. I can fix this.
I'm gonna fix you.
Alright. Hold on 1 second. Well, okay, what I got is I have it set up so now you'll just see the web page. So if I want to like tab over to look at my dashboard or something, or if I want to, you know, pull up the chat to see it, the chat will be on stream all the time. Once I pull it back up because I'm retarded and I fucked it up. I set it to accidentally be the same web page twice. But just let me do this and then... Okay, there we go.
Now, I don't know a lot about Lowtax. I hear things about him. He's kind of like an urban folk legend. The way I hear people talk about him. Who apparently just... Now, instead of being like a very wealthy or could have been wealthy moderator of a website, he became a man who sleeps on a couch now.
Part of that is definitely true. Pull this back up. Pull it back up! Damn it! Oh my god. Did that fix it? It did. Okay, good. This is a learning curve here on how I can make all this shit work. So I apologize if it doesn't work.
You should apologize.
Just gotta have field practice.
So, in chat, Daniel Norton, is this going to involve Schmorky? We will talk about Schmorky, but this is not, about Schmorky, specifically. What this is, and this is something I've tried to do a few times before, to mix results, mostly because, like, there just wasn't anything interesting to talk about. But
I love that guy's Ultimate Warrior profile picture.
who are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay,
He's
yeah.
up the top of the page, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I guess there is a delay. So I guess I should probably explain who Lowtax is. Let's Google him real fast. And then I'll bring him up here. And then hold on, I feel like this is the most Lowtax picture. Oh, good, and it's part of the thread too. Oh, it's in the thread header. Okay, good. I just want the picture though. Just give me the image. Don't make it weird.
Just give me the...
It's not a very big picture. I was hoping I could
Look
find
at that
the
happy
picture.
boy.
Can if I zoom in on this picture in the desktop, how does that affect OBS? Does it not? It should. It does. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Lowtax.
Oh, this picture. Oh.
So if you don't know who Lowtax is, Lowtax, who we half covered on an episode of It Came From the Internet, the one about Schmorky. Probably my favorite episode I've ever done. I think it's my best one.
That one was really good. The speedrunning one that you guys did is really fucking thorough.
Yeah. To this day, I think those are things I'm very proud of having created. Lowtax was a internet comedian who sort of was born both too early and too late at the same time. Lowtax got in on the internet train right as the .com bubble burst. So right when everyone realized that you weren't going to be able to make a living just off of having a website. You were like, that wasn't going to work anymore, and all of a sudden websites became worthless. Around that time, Lowtax had a blog in which it was basically just a comedy blog, very similar to The Onion, if not a little earlier. It was basically just a comedy website. And a lot of notable, comedians on the internet actually started here. The dude who made Welcome to Night Vale, the first shit he ever wrote, he wrote at Something Awful.
Slenderman started there too.
Slenderman started there, as a concept. Total Biscuit was really, sort of known on Something Awful before he really hit it off with anyone else.
Fortune got started because of what's it called?
The first contact with Chris Chan was on Something Awful.
Yeah, didn't a guy post there about it was a weirdos in your community thread and it got derailed because of Chris?
Yes, just to put it in perspective, without Something Awful, there is no Chris Chan as we know it.
Damn.
So why did I do it on the fucking whatever page instead of just the page with the image on it? I'm stupid. God, look at its fucking face. Even in this 2009 level picture, doesn't this just say it all? So, whatever. Lowtax is doing his shit. Aquanaz, real fast, would you post this around a little bit to let people know we're doing this?
Where?
I honestly don't know. Do people still use Pleroma?
I mean, yeah.
Alright, I guess there. I'm getting all sorts of...
I'd post it in Blake's server fight. He didn't kick me out last night.
Yeah, okay. Sorry I'm a little scattershot. I didn't expect to actually have to explain anything in this. But it was too late to make money just from having a website. So he had to come up with some different ways to figure out how to monetize it. None of them were particularly effective. His most notable way is that to participate on these Something Awful forums, you have to pay a fee. You have to buy an account. And you could... you paid $10 to get the account, but then there was other shit, if you wanted an avatar, you had to pay an extra few bucks. If you wanted, a signature or a custom username, you had to pay an extra few bucks. And then it got into, the really weird territory where it's you could pay money to take away someone else's features. I think if you paid enough, you could have someone banned.
That's awesome.
You could pay it if you were banned. You could pay like an extra $3 to be unbanned. Not dissimilar to how I run my Discord. It was moderately successful for a couple of reasons. People on Something Awful felt some level of elitism, but also there was the part where like it did cut down on idiots, because no one was going to pay $10 to use a website and then come in and shout nigger and then get banned immediately. And if they did do it, someone was making money off of it, and that was inherently funny. But the Something Awful forums had a sort of unique board culture to them, for lack of a better term. And because you had to pay to get in, people tended to abide pretty seriously by it. So it was weird, and there's a very possible reality where if Lowtax was smarter with his money and shit, this is how most forums would be run now.
He's turned down like a $2 million deal for the forum before the bubble burst. Before the forums went to shit.
Yeah, that was not smart on his part. Anyway, so
Definitely
I mean,
not.
time came on, and then forums kind of died. The influence of Something Awful had petered out sometime around 2009, 2010. But like forums in general don't really exist anymore. If you want to go and talk with people about a subject, you go to a subreddit. If you want to like casually make friends with those people, you go to a Discord channel. If you want to just sort of get a feel of how the general public feels about something, you go on a Twitter hashtag. Forums don't really exist anymore, except in these tiny little alcoves left and right. So he's not making a ton of money off of the website. And that's more or less who Lowtax is, without going much further into the detail of, like, you know, the greater point is that Lowtax was someone notable. And, let me make sure the formatting here is back on track. Lowtax was someone notable. He had the potential to be more than just notable, and he kind of blew it. And now he basically sits on I guess a fucking, it's income, I guess, but it's not active income, and it's not a whole lot of income. Wait, fuck, how do I... Alt-tab. Control Alt-tab. Alt-tab, that's how you do it. I'm retarded. I fucking forgot how to Alt-tab for a second there. I Control-tab,
You're right,
and I
you are retarded.
Shift-tabbed. I'm stupid.
Damn, Dylan.
God. Anyway, so that's the sort of business that's happening here. So real fast, I'm going to get something to play in the background as sort of ambient noise. Not music, but just like something to make it sound less dead. And then we're just going to go through this thread and sort of see people talking about what has happened to Lowtax recently. And this will probably not take very long, because it's not many pages. But after this, we'll probably go and look at other shit too. So what spurned this is this fucking thing. Close these out because I don't need them. God, it's fucking shit. Okay, here we go. This is much better. All right. So this is from Lowtax, whose real name is Rich Kiyonka. Monday at 8:55 p.m. So, like, this is a little old. We've been talking about it, or bringing it up at least. This has come up. Benson wrote, Lowtax legit could have become a semi-decent podcaster if he kept up Murder the Internet. Lowtax could have been a lot of things if he was less lazy. He was a fairly decent Let's Player for a little while there before Schmorky, you know, did all that. And I think, like, yeah, like, if he had a podcast, he, like, in, like, 2011, 2012, today, he'd probably be on the level of, like, maybe, like, H3 in them. If he was, like, because he knows people. And he knows how to talk to people more than Ethan fucking does. And people would be like, oh, this dude, he's somebody. He's got a background and everything. Like, he could have been someone important. And I want to let it be known that I get no alert when someone types in the chat. Even though the window is up for you guys all the time, it's not for me. So if I don't read your thing immediately, that's probably why. The chat is slow enough that I'll basically read whatever comes through.
Oh, Dylan, I just want to say really quick, I don't think the Half-Life audio is coming through very well, if at all, on the stream.
Let me turn it up a little bit, because it's pretty low. I don't want it to be overpowering or anything. I just want it.
Right.
I just want it so that if no one talks, it doesn't sound deafening, like deafeningly silent. Tryhard 101. Onision's mental state was already fucked up before recently, but he went to a new level. We can look into Onision soon too, because we don't have a whole lot of Lowtax stuff. We can definitely look up what's going on with Onision, because I know about the Chris Hansen stuff. Chris Hansen's been digging into Onision for like the last month, and it never came into fruition. I had a ton of shit on Onision. I was planning this huge fucking thing to do on Onision, and it never took form. Me and David recorded the episode, and the audio was unusable. It was garbage.
I can be you, David.
I remember that.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll fucking check in with Onision after this. By the way, feel free to donate. I gotta make that paper.
I would if I could.
Heads up to anyone out there watching who's curious about how this works. The way the YouTube monetary system works, I'm not going to spend forever on this because I've done this like 6 times. It's kind of convoluted and you don't get it instantly. It's like held in another account until you reach a certain threshold. And then at the end of like a certain amount of time, that money gets put into your account. I've hit that threshold for the month, but any money that's donated gets put into that threshold. So if you donate something, I'll get that money like by mid-December. So if you're like, well, you know, maybe, but he's kind of a small channel, so will this money just sit in Google's account forever? Normally, yeah, but not this time. It actually will be used. No one thinks that except for me. No one pays this much attention to this shit. God damn it, Kane. Are you really gonna make me fucking let you out right now? Hold on. So, if you ever were thinking about like, oh, I like this guy's stuff, I'd like to support him a little bit, now is the time. Or maybe in the next few days. I'm going to try and stream a bit more over the next few days, for that very reason. Anyway, what were we talking about?
You were reading this.
Lowtax.
You said you were going to do an Onision thing at some point in the future.
Yeah. So, out of nowhere, Lowtax posts this. What's the word for when you're in the middle of a divorce and you're out of town, and then your wife steals $3,000 from your checking account, then disables her phone and takes a bunch of clothes and her pets and your daughter and flees the state, even though she has no immigration papers or driver's license? I'm asking for myself. And then he comments on this like, anyway, the police have been called.
Oh my god.
So, Rich's wife, who I believe is Asian? Is she Chinese?
No, this one's Canadian.
This one's Canadian. Okay.
Disgusting.
Did he have an Asian?
Disgusting.
Did he have an Asian wife at some point?
Yes.
He did. Okay. So I guess what's notable is...
Why does it matter, Dylan?
I guess it would be funnier if she was Asian.
Please don't beat me.
It would be funnier just because it would play into the stereotype of, like, nerds on the internet being obsessed with Asian women. That's kind of just it. I thought it'd be funnier. She's Canadian, it's not as impressive. Although, if she's Canadian, she's probably white. So Rich has will have a much harder case to make against her in the legal system.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even mock him. I always felt that shit like this happening to him was always a question of when, not if. He lucked too easily into success and then never learned how to get his shit together, so he'll keep fucking up, both personally and professionally. It's from Humble Shitpost Merchant, and I can't disagree. I got two threads here for the record. One of these is his personal thread on Kiwi Farms. And the other is the Something Awful and Friends thread, which is just about, like, general people who post on something awful and their bullshit. So I'll sort of go back and forth on these ones. Nice job leaving the account open with zero restrictions against any of this in the middle of a divorce. That was intelligent. Yeah, you probably... I guess we don't know the circumstances, but you probably should have been a little more tight-lipped about, like, your passwords and shit during this.
That's rough.
Responding to that, it sounds like they were still living together, and he said they hadn't gotten around to consulting lawyers, so he's being disingenuous when he says they are in the middle of a divorce. Which I guess is kind of true. But I don't know if it really changes anything. Like, if he said... If he didn't mention divorce at all, I think this would carry... This like, post would carry the same kind of connotation to it. Imagine being so utterly repugnant that someone would rather risk deportation than stay anywhere near you. Also, immigration papers or not, if that kid was born here, then it's now an anchor baby and her immigration status is absolutely irrelevant. Haha, get fucked, Lowtax.
63. Yeah.
Oh, look who donated. Thank you, Devilman.
No, you're welcome.
No, thank you, Dylan, man.
Tryhard 101 just wrote Steam Autumn Sale, and I don't know what that means. Other than it happening, I guess? Thank you for letting me know about that, sir, but my laptop can't...
Yes, thank you.
My laptop can't really run games very well. I'm still shackled to a console.
You should take your Steam money and buy a computer.
I thought about it, because I bet I could, like, if I really looked around, because I've been following a lot of tech channels recently, and you can find some shit for pretty cheap if you want. I bet I could, like, look around and find some dude who has, like, a list of shit for around, like, $200, $250, and have it be, like, not too bad in terms of price. But I also thought more about it, and it's like, yeah, I could do that, but is there really a whole lot on PC that I want to play that I can't play now? And, like, even if I did that, I don't know, it didn't necessarily seem like a great investment. And also, when they do those sort of breakdowns, they're always sort of, like, not counting a monitor. They're not counting shit that, like, they expect you to already have. Like a monitor.
Well, you got a TV in your room, don't you?
I got a what?
A TV in your room?
Yeah, can I use a TV?
I use a TV for my monitor all the time.
Oh.
It's like if it has like an HDMI input on the graphics card, and yeah.
Huh. Maybe then. There was a part of me that was like, dude, I bet if I really bust my ass, and I'm very smart, I bet I could get like a VR thing set up before March. And I think that like, because like there was the thing one dude did. It was some video where he made a thing. It was like a really cheap VR PC thing. And I was like, I bet there's some dude out there who's found a way to have a playable VR setup for like $250. But the headset and shit is still like $400. So like all in, he's only spending like $600 or $700, but it's still like the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see how the next few weeks go. Whew. I think my favorite part of this is that Rich is telling us his daughter just got kidnapped and he's still posting in a quirky, ironic fashion meant to elicit internet lulz. Normal humans would say, my daughter's been kidnapped, please let me know if you hear anything. Lowtax says, what's the word for your wife committing felonies or in a messy divorce, LMAO?
You know, one time I think I heard it was either Null or Slow Beef was talking about how it infuriated them that, like, Lowtax, like, when anything horrible was happening to him, he couldn't take it seriously for, like, 1 second. He had to be ha-ha funny ironic about it.
Yeah.
It sounds like Null.
Benson, not gaming, but I got a high-end Cisco business networking switch for close to free because I know the right people. If you live in like a techie area or like a business park, every like 3 or 4 years they have to upgrade all their equipment. Like they have to, and they just sell that shit on eBay for next to nothing. So if you're smart, you can get some really like industrial grade shit for almost free. You know, and if you like know someone who works there who can like give you a heads up, that's a huge jump. That's definitely like if I could get like not a laptop, a fucking computer with everything for like $200-$250, I would be down for that, especially if I could like get one that's, I don't know, like I'm not against that at all. It's just always been the thing of like getting that cash together all at once was impossible for me.
Try hard. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but Airtrack is not a recently discovered pedophile. He has been discovered a long ass time ago.
Oh.
Ooh, we'll have to look into that.
AAR?
Airtrack. He used to run the TV board on Something Awful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, Lowtax is a person who is terminally unable to take anything seriously. Unfortunately, he's a person who is also terminally unfunny. So she's sad and pathetic rather than sad and amusing. Harsh.
Yeah, that sounds like Lowtax.
How many fucking kids and ex-wives does he have now? Have both of his wives been ones he bought in from China? Yeah, one of his wives was like a mail order thing, wasn't it? Or was that...
I don't know.
There's so many fucking, like, layers to all this.
I think it was somebody from the forums.
That makes sense, because I know Schmorky's ex-fiance wanted to go meet a real white man in Cambodia. while looking for dinosaur bones, I want to say. There was...
What the fuck?
The dinosaur bones were somewhere in that, but I don't remember where exactly. And I think I was watching Jurassic Park when I was looking into it, so I might have made that part up.
This is a very Dylan sentence that you just spit out.
I'm usually watching Jurassic Park.
Oh.
You're
Well,
like
yeah.
that one guy from that looked like an autistic JonTron.
You mean JonTron?
Yeah,
well,
I was gonna say.
autistic JonTron that can't talk.
Oh, are you talking about the dude who screams and he
Yes.
rips his room
Yeah.
apart? Yeah.
By the way, I found out there's a YouTube channel that has like a bunch of videos that's just ambient noise from the Half-Life games.
That's awesome.
He just no-clips somewhere in the level and turns off, like, his character placement and just records for like an hour. So it's just noise looping. It's very fucking relaxing, weirdly. And he's got him for like a bunch of fucking levels. Ashley was legitimately insane, and I'm not surprised she did this. She was also a stay-at-home mom with no prospects for the future. This is going to be another hilarious saga, right when I was starting to get bored of Lowtax, too. And then someone goes into more detail. He had 2 kids with the Chink wife, 1 kid with Canuck wife, the one who has just taken off while he's away. Rich isn't believing the Whammons, and the Whammons have said they're afraid of him. Let's read this. Fun new update. My wife and daughter are, according to police, somewhere in the area, but they cannot tell me where because if a woman claims to be afraid of a man, then they don't require any evidence to do so. They can take your family members and hide for as long as they want. This is absolutely fucking insane. I've never threatened or laid a hand on my wife. Yet all she has to do is claim she's afraid of me, and she's legally allowed in Missouri to stay hidden with certain organizations indefinitely. Not to sound like a red pill man going his own way, but it's absolutely insane that a woman can take your child away from you by just claiming she's scared without requiring any proof or evidence. This is absolutely fucked. What was that noise? Whatever. Ostensibly, there's a part of me that agrees, but those rules are put in place basically to stop abusive husbands in their tracks. You just want to put up as many walls between the abuser and their victim as possible, and you have to erect those walls very quickly. So, like, yeah, when you haven't done anything and you're on the other side of this is very frustrating. But I don't necessarily know how ridiculous it is in concept. And then he goes on to explain, I'd like to restate, she was thrown in jail for physically assaulting me for a 3rd separate time. I don't understand this system at all.
Maybe if he wasn't such a cuck.
And then Repentance says, Ashy is totally bullshit, but it's sickening how many goons are sucking Lowtax's dick over this. They're taking his word on how this played out without the slightest bit of evidence. Why is he out of state anyway? Isn't he supposed to be effectively bedbound? So I actually... Okay, that's interesting. So I thought we would have to do this, to go back a little bit to get some context. But it actually looks like we don't have to, because from September 5th to October 31st, there are no posts. So I guess it's just sort of a general thing that he's a sickly dude. Which I don't think is true, I just think he's high on Ambien.
Keep saying shit like he has spine problems or shit like that. Which I don't know how.
I gotta move out to Seattle and get my fucking back fixed. Do you remember when Darkside Phil used to talk about his back all the time?
Yeah.
He doesn't do that anymore. Or I don't think he does. Maybe he brought it back.
It's bringing it back. Fucking Coke Classic.
I can't wait to see DSP Classic.
I think he actually has a channel called that.
What, for real?
Never mind, I don't want to see it.
He definitely had... So, I remember this, because I used to be an unironic fan of Darkside Phil when I was younger.
I think that's the least of
I
his sins, Dylan.
know a lot of... I have a lot of friends who said they liked Darkside Phil back when he recorded his TV. Apparently a lot of people liked him back.
I used to watch a lot of it. I had, like, fan songs that people had made from video clips of him saved on my MP3 player. And I would, like, listen to him on the way to school and shit and laugh to myself. It is very, very sad. He had a channel, Darkside Phil, which got shut down. And then he started up a new channel, DSP Gaming. And then his old channel got reinstated, and he kept it around as an archive. And I think at some point he might have actually changed it to Darkside Phil Classic, or something along that line. So hold on, let's pull this back a minute. September 4th, okay. Okay, so here's something apparently relevant. This is from a little while back. So this is from September 4th. So this is a few months old, for context. Let me see if I can go further back. Sorry, I know there's a lot of like dead air here. That's that's the reality of an unedited real ass stream. Lowtax is lazy. Blah 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 blah. Null offered to do migration for the forums, I guess. He didn't take it. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you guys have... General bullshit. The extra form speed cost over $3,000 a month. I don't know if you guys have noticed the forums, when they weren't being indexed, have been going extra fast lately. This is because I enabled something in Cloudflare. I honestly can't remember the name of it, and I'm too fucking lazy to find my phone to do the two-factor authentication to see what it is on the control panel. In the last 2 weeks, when I've had the option enabled, it racked up a bill based off bandwidth of an extra $1,500 charge in addition to the $220 monthly fee Cloudflare charges. Is that worth it to you guys? I'm like over 200 grand in debt from medical bills, which are incredibly still going on, and taxes and shit, so I gotta ask you guys if it's worth it to you. I'd like to try to figure out some way to mitigate the cost, or do something somehow if you all really notice the speed difference and appreciate it, but right now, from a purely financial standpoint, it's taking me to the opposite direction of where I need to go. So any input or opinions would be very appreciated by myself, Rich Hitler Kianka, creator of 4chan, 8chan, and the man who solely elected Donald Trump. So, okay, so he enabled something and it racked up a fucking extra bill.
Oh damn, this is like literally a few months ago.
Yeah, this is September 4th. So, and then this is the post we talked about earlier to another dude going, I know no is the obvious answer, but I just wanted to let you guys know that even though I'm not around posting, I'm still trying to do shit to improve the Something Awful forum browsing experience. I didn't want anybody to think I was abandoning the place, and I've been actively trying to find ways to functionally make shit better. Right now, my current issue is that our previous admin, ZTR, took $4 grand from me and then stopped all communication and blocked me. And he did not deliver the server documentation I asked him for. So when and if I find another sysadmin who does not get addicted to opioids and steal my money, they can understand how the spaghetti factory of code and VMs all work together. I swear that medical debt number was 60 grand back in March when he first got the goons to balloon his Patreon.
Oh.
Okay.
What now?
I'm reading up on Lowtax's recent drama.
Oh, Lowtax is still up years ago.
He's still kicking. His wife stole one of his kids, but he's still kicking.
Yeah. Well,
This is the second time a wife has stole kids from him.
Wait, really?
Yes.
You telling me
Twice to you from two different wives.
the fucking Chinese wife stole her kids too. That's great.
No, I believe she only took one of them.
Yo, it must suck to be the only kid of Lowtax's who's never been taken. That's probably the one that was hanging out with Schmorky all the time.
Either she took her kids or she just left the kid with Lowtax.
That one was hanging out with Schmorky all the time to level the playing field.
in all honesty, would you want to take a kid that Schmorky's had their hands on?
Oh, no.
Wasn't there like a whole deal where he got fucking mad at Schmorky? He's like, stay the fuck away from my kid or some shit like.
Yeah, he was very like. There was always people who said that Schmorky had been like around Rich's kids, and he had. But some people were like, well, Rich was sort of like bowed out on the fucking couch from Ambien and Mangosteens. That Schmorky was put in charge of them. For what it's worth, Rich directly denied that to me.
To you?
Yeah, because he watched the Smorky episode.
Oh,
And he
okay.
commented on it, and he went through, and that was one of the things that I brought up, and he was like, yeah, he was like, there's, he said he liked it, but he was like, there's some stuff in here that I wanted to clarify, and that was one of them, that he was like, I never left Smorky alone with my kids, for any reason. He was always kind of a weirdo, and I wouldn't leave any adult with my kids unattended. Although that's gone now, because that was back when we were on Random Assault, so...
Oof.
No, the Schmorky episode is still floating around. It's been mirrored by somebody, plus your other channel.
It's mirrored on my channel. But the comments that Rich left, where he went into that shit, was on the Random Assault channel, and that's gone. The video itself is still up, and I'm still very proud of it. So, okay, so someone brought that up and said... The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure one of the D&D mods said that ZTR taking Lowtax money was bullshit and Lowtax was just fishing for sympathy. The first time he brought up how much money ZTR took from him. Wish I kept to capture that, but maybe they finally means D&D will turn against Lowtax, and if it's true, the ZTR is still in the C-SPAN Discord. And then here's that, I guess, from Lightning Knight. I'm going to say it here so that it's public knowledge. What Lowtax has been saying on the forums and stuff is not entirely true. So don't go spreading around bad shit about ZTR, TIA. That's all I'm going to say about it. If you'd like to know more, you can PM me. But basically the numbers Lowtax is citing for both how much the forum costs and how much ZTR borrowed are both lies. And then someone else says, Bane, after breaking Batman's spine. Don't worry, Bruce, I'll be noting... that's something else. Lightning Knight. And also the nature of what ZTR has been doing for the last 6 months. There's no point in challenging him on the forum since GBS and Fyod love him, but yeah, he torched ZTR's reputation for Patreon money. To which, and then to go back to the current situation, someone wrote, I wouldn't be surprised if Lowtax has her green card and IDs locked away in a safe. I apologize if, I'm like breaking my voice. It's because I have the hiccups. Today was a very special day for me personally. Some dude in my chat is posting spoilers, but he's posting spoilers for shit that I don't care about and only people I dislike care about. So I'm gonna let him keep doing it.
Are we re-recording this?
Yeah, I'm actually.
I'm gonna
I'm
read these
streaming.
names and not remember them whenever I go to watch the anime because I can't remember weeb names whatsoever.
Yeah, I can't either.
What?
It's a real big problem in Kamen Rider.
Nah, I'm not going.
It's especially a big problem in Kamen Rider because half the characters are named after other characters as homage. There's like
I can tell you for a fact that I've watched Kamen Rider Black recently. I've known the main character's name before, but I can't tell you his name right.
I think it's Kotaro.
It is. It's
Kotaro, but I don't remember what his first name is.
Yeah.
There's like 6 dudes named Tachibana in Kamen Rider
Wait, really?
that have no relation to each other.
And that's like their family name?
It's what they call each other. I don't know. I can't ever fucking follow it. Tachibana was like very important in the old Kamen Rider stuff. He was a reoccurring character. And in the new shows, they will often have a character named Tachibana as an homage to him. But they have no connection, and after a while, there's just 30 fucking dudes named Tachibana. And it's hard to make sense of them all. I'm watching Kamen Rider Blade, and the 3 main leads all look identical. And sometimes I legitimately don't know which character I'm following. Granted, I'm only like 2 or 3 episodes in, so that's probably why.
Have you ever had an incident where like you're sitting there watching one of the characters and you're following them, and you transform and you realize it's a different dude than who you thought it was?
Multiple times. Especially in like Blade, because Blade hits the ground running, where it's like there's a scene of a dude, and it's the first time we've ever seen this character, and it's like in like a room filled with like the eggs from Alien, and I'm like, oh, this is that dude discovering this. No, that's a totally separate character that I've never seen before, who just looks like him. And no one's there to talk to him, so no one says his name, and he doesn't say anything, so I can't tell by his voice. It's weird. I've never felt more racist. But I don't have this problem with any other Kamen Rider show, so it's not me. Imagine putting, like... Imagine a Japanese person watching Avengers and trying to figure out, like, the difference between Chris Evans and Jeremy Renner when they're on screen together. And, like... Yeah, when they're in costume, you can tell they're different, but if they're just wearing shirts, and you have to read subtitles, you might not be able to tell them apart very easily. I bet I could...
What do you mean? They look like 2 completely different people.
I could probably find a better example than those 2, but, like, dudes with similar builds, the same hair, the same eye color, the same kind of facial features, speaking a language you don't know, so you can't really tell by voice very well. There's a better example than those 2, but I'm not going to try that hard. What would Ashley possibly have to fear from an unstable drug addict with 0 impulse control? Anyway, this is going to be fun. I hope he's trying to figure out how to make his Patreon/dwindling forum money stretch to cover alimony and child support. To which someone explains he's already divorced and paying alimony and child support. This is divorce number 2. Get fucked. Someone wrote, if she's a danger, why would he leave the children alone with her? So this is Anonymous, who is... Oh, he's a former moderator, but he's still very prolific on the forums. If you spend a lot of time on Kiwi forums, you probably rub elbows with Anonymous sometimes. I think he's bullshitting and he's in a shitty position now. She moved first and will win the race to the courtroom door if she hasn't already. If you do that and have actual physical custody and are a woman, you win. You can even win with the first 2 if you're a man sometimes. If he hasn't been served anything yet and isn't off to the court himself, he's a fool. But we know that. It's not going to look good being a chronically inebriated deadbeat with no easily explainable means of support, being accused of being some kind of threat to the kids by a mother who actually has them. Cops aren't going to fucking arrest someone for kidnapping every time two parents split up and one of them ends up with the kids. Which physically has to happen literally every time one parent leaves. It's not kidnapping until there's a custody agreement in place, unless they've done something like flee the state and disappear entirely, and into a shelter doesn't count. That last looks super less than great. Obviously that's why she did it, but seriously, he's a dude whose fucking wife and kids are literally in hiding from him, at least in the eyes of the law. So it is worth noting in this that Lowtax was out of state, and his wife took her kid into, like, presumably a women's shelter until when he came back and discovered they were gone. It's pretty funny reading the Goon comments supporting Lowtax when the constant references to the kids make it abundantly clear that goons haven't bothered to read what's going on, or don't even know enough about Lowtax to know that he has only one child with Ashley. Life is highly taxing.
Did goons being any more intelligent than the average person?
You know.
No, they're not.
Wow, okay, so it's true. Something Awful has not had, like, hasn't elected anything into the comedy gold mine since 2017. The last article was why having an alligator for a pet is dangerous. Which, you know, that sounds like an okay article, but I feel like at that point, at this point, just make a YouTube video, okay? Just figure it out. Yes, it's moderately more difficult, but no one reads anymore.
You see, I thought Something Awful, like, died back in 2013.
Oh, it did. It just still exists.
It's shambling along like a zombie.
It's one of those deals where, like, at a point, Something Awful stopped gaining users, and it started to lose them and lose influence, and at that point it was dead. And now it's
like
how hard can you hold on to this corpse?
Because I remember when I thought Something Awful was cool. It was back in high school, at the same time when I thought that the guy at the hobby was, like, down the road from my high school. I go and buy, like, 40K figures like, the balding dude with the fucking, like, fedora and everything was, like, the coolest shit ever. Instead, he's just a 30-something loser working a hobby shop, whose height of achievement was being able to play, like, the Super Mario theme on a fucking...
Same.
And he still, to this day, says that that's the coolest thing he ever did. I think that's basically the people at...
Yeah. I'm gonna make a controversial take here. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it's something I was thinking about earlier. I think the general soundscape of Sonic the Hedgehog is better than Mario. By which I mean...
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I think the sound effects in Sonic are more iconic and more enjoyable than in Mario. I, in fact, think a lot of the sound effects in Mario sound like shit.
Yeah, but has anyone ever written a book about...
Just 'cause you have the
Someone has.
Has anyone ever written a book about Sonic?
Yes, they have. It's called Sonichu.
True.
Actually, off topic, do you think Sonichu, if you account for all the downloads illicitly or whatever, people didn't buy it, is more popular than Movie Bob's book?
Yes. That's not. That's
it's got a sting, Movie Bob.
Dude, that's unequivocal. We can find this data. I almost feel like we can look up this data. Somewhere there must be the public available data of the sales of Movie Bob's book. And we can find only 1 or 2 videos going through Sonichu and see how many views are there and recognize not only is that not the most popular one, not only is that not all the views, but that's only the overlap of people who watch that person's content and know of Chris Chan, and recognize that even that dwarfs Movie Bob's book. I talked about this on It Came From the Internet, that Chris Chan has a brother who is, like, more successful, who, I guess, has earned a living, but is arguably less successful than Chris. Because Chris has become an almost icon in this bizarre culture we have. The influence that Chris Chan has had over people's lives dwarfs that of his brother. Even though his brother is like a critic for an actual, like, well-known publication.
I don't know the actual publication.
I think he might be freelance at this point. We did that episode a while ago, and that information was pretty old at that point. Remember that this nigga who left his young daughters from his previous marriage in the care of a Muppet-voiced, yarn-wigged person with a publicly known infantilism fetish so he could pass out on pills and wine. He's also burning through his mother's money, aka the family fortune, at an astounding pace, ensuring they will get approximately jack shit in inheritance. What I'm saying is that the welfare of his children is not exactly high on Lowtax's list of priorities. Someone has also noted that he took the woman took the pet rabbit and the pet dogs, and I was gonna say that's probably bad because she took him as foodstuffs, but then I remember this is the Canadian wife, so no, they're safe. I thought that joke deserved at least a chuckle.
Sorry, I kind of zoned out for a minute.
I'm busy
Speaking as a
killing Japs
Canadian.
in Way of the Samurai 4.
Speaking as a Canadian, rabbit stew is pretty good. TBH.
What about dog stew?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not Korean.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you, we are accepting donations. You can super chat and ask me to say literally anything, and I will say it on stream. So if you've got some money and you don't know what to spend it on and you want to hear me say something awful, feel free.
Oh. If only I had money that wasn't on a Walmart gift card.
Ah, get fucked. How much is on the gift card?
20.
If you send me the code on the gift card, I'll do it.
I'm not.
Ah, you faggot. I'm not afraid to beg.
You are. You are begging right now.
You're not wrong. I want a confirmation on if the domestic abuse claims are legit or not so I can tailor my Uwe Boll boxing references accordingly. That's a really good comment. I'm gonna give that a like. Don't marry a woman who doesn't have her own income. It's 2019. There are actually decent women out there now who want to be professionals and have a career. They won't want your money when it's over and wouldn't really be able to take it anyway if the salaries are somewhat comparable and you have a much happier marriage. Just finished reading this thread from start to finish. Absolute gold. Likewise, don't get with a man who doesn't have a job. I feel like that advice is a lot less controversial. It's about time he reunited with Schmorky. It's a shame this might mean Stone Toss will end. Armstrong. Blah 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 blah. Don't believe women. And here's someone going, the disgusting creeps who discuss something awful on other social media are now on this case. To which Repentance has the very, I think, understandable take. That's what you get when you spray your personal life all over social media. Which, yeah, it is. Laser Lancer, who has just given me $5 Canadian, which I feel like is more than American? Whatever. Make more, it came from the internet. I mean, yes and no. I feel like my Nikocado video is the type of stuff I want to make. And I was going to call it It Came From the Internet. But I don't know if anyone recognizes that name.
To answer your question, no, it's the Canadian dollar's fallen. It's about 75 cents American.
God damn it.
So yeah, it's about $4.
Son of a bitch.
He scammed you. He could have given you Canadian Tire money, though.
Maybe. Also, YouTube takes like $1 out of that, too. So I got like $3 out of that. God damn it.
Did you know Canadian Tire money is accepted as legal tender in some parts of Canada?
What's a tire? What's tire money? I know what a tire is.
Canadian Tire is a retail kind of similar to Walmart. However, they give out like little funny money kind of slips. They're usually like 5 cents or whatever, up to like but it's such a prolific place, and you can shop and buy anything anywhere, that there are some places that just accept Canadian Tire money, and still do to this day. It's brilliant.
Weird.
Yeah.
Navy Guzzler. Who the fuck is Navy Guzzler?
Navy Guzzler is somebody who went on the thread to start talking about how Lowtax is a piece of shit and shit like that, while saying that they knew like a Lady Ambient personally, all while not backing it up with any actual evidence, despite saying that they haven't.
I was waiting for this to happen ever since she got knocked up. The clock was ticking. Gotta think that him posting this publicly is because he expects her to start seeing shit online in the near future after she's shores up the IRL matters. Wonder if she has anyone in Canada she can flee to and live with. Given Lowtax's endless health woes and lack of insurance, it was really odd they remained in Kansas instead of getting free healthcare in Canada. Made me think there wasn't a welcome ad out for her and Rich up north, or he realized moving anywhere with her was doomed. The fact she got knocked up so quickly after moving in with Rich made me think she was an unstable loon. Falling in love is one thing, but thinking it was a good idea to have a kid with Rich, given his previous 2 kids' back pain and financial issues, was nuts. I wondered if Rich had any say in the matter. I can't imagine he was hyped for baby number 3. Ashley's going to have to play this smart. She took off while the free Patreon money was still flowing. The wrong kind of drama might stop the flow really quick if goons realize their donations are going to pay for even more alimony and child support, instead of keeping their Troonie hug box alive. Good thing Ashley isn't a Troon or he'd be toast. Either way, this shit is going to be messy.
Well, if she was a Troon, then like she wouldn't have gotten knocked up. And the goons probably would have been okay with it.
Isn't this like his second divorce? He must be a really shitty person to be with. Harsh. Oh, there's actually way more to this than I thought. I thought I was on page 34 of 37. I was on page 24. So we might actually only cover this tonight. We'll have to get to Onision and shit later. Lowtax has been a lying piece of shit that likes to manipulate the narrative all the way back to the Planet days, which was presumably
Planet Quake.
Right. He's also shown repeatedly to be perfectly willing to throw other people under the bus if he just as much as guesses it might make him look better. Lowtax's ego is massive and at the same time super fragile. There's still need for substantial proof, but let's say I would not be surprised at all if there's more to the story than he's willing to admit. Can't see Lowtax being violent, though. A passive-aggressive dickwad, yeah. Criminally negligent, yes. Violent just doesn't seem the guy for it, but who knows. Wonder what the details are in the end. At any rate, Christmas is early this year and just in the right moment for me when Greer got too boring and Lucas just too gross to follow too. A palate cleanser, if you will. I wonder what he did out of state in that risky situation with his wife. I don't find it too surprising that the police are hiding his wife and kids. They do err on the side of caution and tend to favor the woman in the relationship, but the allegations must have been quite serious for it to even go that far. I really do hope that we finally get proof for his alleged substance abuse that's a bit more than an old-ass pic of him passed out on a couch next to a pill bottle. Whatever skeletons Lowtax is hiding, the evidence must be overwhelming for goons to even consider ditching Lowtax. Goons are great at doublethink and at ignoring reason for narrative they like. No, it's not internally consistent with the beliefs the crowd usually holds when it comes to evil white cis men, but nothing about them is ever consistent to begin with. And then, hold on a second. I'm going to switch up. Okay. Somebody in that Twitter thread.
Ooh, this is nice.
Somebody in that Twitter thread referred to one of Lowtax's Asian daughters as evil. Do we know what daughter they were referring to? I thought Lauren and the other one were pretty normal. So Pit Mommy versus Pill Daddy.
I want to be the Pit Mommy. You could be my Pill Daddy, Dylan.
These are posts from Something Awful. I can say with near certainty there's some real bad stuff coming that, as much as I love the forums and Richard, well, it's not my place to say, but it's real stinky, and you can go suss it out for yourself on Facebook. Sure, Tax is on a business trip with a mid-20s goonette, and that's why he's out of state. But if you want more details, you're going to have to put on your tinfoil yourself. That feel when the webmaster of your favorite site is living in self-exile in some Eastern European hellhole, and that's the good ending. Bloody, bloody, blah. I'm just going over some of these, because a lot of these seem to be tied up in some other stuff. Is there an updated explanation about Lowtax being a lolcow? Last I heard about him was a Smorky stuff, which made me seem as sympathetic for dropping that lore. What's the 2 to 3 sentence version of what he's been up to since then, because the OP is way out of date?
Are you just reading the key farm story, or is this a different one?
What?
Still the farms.
Is this the farms thread, or is this...
Oh, this is the farms thread.
He,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just going through it point by point. Because it's usually the most effective method. Blah 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 blah. Here's Moonman 1488's 2 to 3 sentence 2 to 3 sentence bullshit of what Lowtax has been up to since the Schmorky drama, which is about since when most of us stopped paying attention. Basically, he's extremely lazy and let the once good website rot through his laziness. He's a drunk, pill-popping, unemployed dad with no degree or career prospects outside of his dying 20-year-old form. He had tons of opportunities fall in his lap with SA, and he never took it anywhere. Once SA manages to fully die off, he will have to get a job at Burger King. He claims to be broke due to paying for the forums, child support, spinal surgery, and now this, but he has a Patreon bringing in $10K a month. He's not the biggest lolcow out there, but he's definitely a fuck-up. The forum is run by trannies and SJWs now who ban people for wrongthink or for posting stuff that used to be 100% acceptable, which has driven most of the original people out.
Okay, so his Patreon, I just want to think about some basic math here,
Yeah.
right? His Patreon's pulling in like 10K a month,
Right.
right? And I don't know, at least what mortgage or whatever is like in Kansas, or wherever the fuck he lives. But it can't be more than even with food and everything, like he shouldn't be having financial troubles at 10K a month.
I
I
thought
think it's mostly.
I
debt.
thought he lived in Missouri for a while.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned that they live in Kansas, but I think he lives in Missouri.
It was somewhere on like in the thread, like I think they mentioned Kansas.
Yeah, someone did, but I wonder if maybe that's where his trip was.
I still don't see a way in which you can't live on 10K a month in the United States.
Yeah, like
how's he like even managing the forum, right? Even fucking
the form.
with Kiwi Farms, just saying that it doesn't cost a lot. It eats up a lot just to run the farms, but like that, and that's the farms, right? Two different sites, but
Well,
like at the end, it shouldn't cost more than like a grand.
according to him,
Here at
it costs $220 per month on Cloudflare. But there's like an additional thing you can do to increase speed, which can bump it up to like 1,700. But even if he was doing that all the time, which he doesn't seem to be, even if that was a tenth of what he was doing, even if he had to pay another 1,000 for his mortgage and another 1,000 for, let's say, another 2,000 for food because it's a family of 5 with a bunch of animals, and another like 2,000 per month in medical bills, that would still leave him $4,000 to just fuck around with.
And that's just the Patreon. Like
He's getting.
because again, it's been a while.
He's getting more.
It's been a while,
Yeah,
right? But
he
like,
gets money.
there's-
He gets money from ads. He gets money from people
I was
signing
gonna
up.
say. Well, yeah, you got to sign up for it. You got to buy the account, and I know that for the longest time you could like pay to fuck with other people's avatars.
I think you.
and
Yeah,
stuff,
I
like,
think you
on
can
the-
still do that. Which,
Yeah.
God, I wish I could fucking implement that into the Discord somehow. Holy shit, that sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, like that.
I tried to implement it so that everyone could change everyone else's name at any point, but it didn't work. There was no way to get it to work, and I'm very upset about it.
Yeah, like it still doesn't add up how he can be bitching and moaning about money and all this shit. Maybe like making some of that, you know, I don't know.
It's hard to imagine a world where 10,000 a month isn't enough. Even in New York, like what is the rent per month in New York? The most expensive city to live in America. Because I know people in San Francisco can pay upwards of like $1,200 for a pretty shitty apartment, or even more than that. But that's San Francisco, the second most expensive city in America. There's nowhere in Missouri that should be anywhere near that in terms of price.
The average rent for an apartment in Manhattan, according to, is $4,245 US,
wow.
with a 2% increase compared to the previous year.
$4,000 for rent alone?
That's in Manhattan, which from my understanding, Manhattan's like the luxury kind of.
That's
area.
obscene.
You're obscene.
There's people who don't pay that much in property tax in my city, like for owned home. Like a month.
Oh my god.
No, even a year.
Alright, I gotta change the sound, because the sound of this fucking water is driving me insane.
You should change it to my boy pussy.
Stop.
Oh, man, okay. Manhattan kind of skews it because Manhattan's just The cost of an average, on average, is. Oh,
It
damn.
has to be like the average has to be so fucked up because there's like, if you're on the like half of Manhattan is super super high class.
Yeah, Manhattan skews it because it's about like double.
Yeah.
It's more than it's 1 point. Hold on. It's 100 higher in Manhattan than the rest of New York. So
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of makes
But also
sense.
just the part where like the Upper East Side of Manhattan is known for being extremely high class. Or is it the Upper East Side is where all the poor people live? One of those two.
I think it's the poor
One
people.
of those two. So there's definitely a part of Manhattan that's not that expensive. But that's whatever. Who gives a shit? Someone else donate money and say something funny when you do it.
I will do that.
Thank you. You the real MVP here, Devil Man.
You're welcome.
The average rent for a one bed in New York is $2,900 a month.
And she won't drop it.
That's average.
has an
so
egg?
it's probably by
Alright.
it's skewed by high end.
I guess let her eat the egg.
I can't catch her.
Let her have it.
What do you mean let her have it?
Just let her eat the egg.
She's not even eating
Let her eat
it.
the
She's
egg.
just holding it.
Well, she's gonna eat it eventually.
I don't think she will.
Shut my door.
Help me get Planchette.
You know, I'm not gonna help you get her. Just let her have the egg.
Why?
Why take it from her?
Because it'll make her sick.
Why? How's an egg gonna make her sick?
Salmonella.
Savannah, she's not gonna get salmonella from an egg we bought at a grocery store.
I don't care.
Then what? What do you mean?
It's gonna make a mess.
You can't just say you don't care. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's gonna make a mess.
Jesus Christ! I have to go fucking kill this dog. Apparently. Aquaman, you take over.
I can give her back.
No.
Dylan, you better get
No, I'm
Brett
not taking
to do
over.
that. He knows all about killing dogs.
Riza is fun.
I know what I'm gonna make Dylan do. I'm gonna pay him to do something great.
What?
Oh, you'll see.
I can
Is
see
there
you.
is there a limit? Is there a limit to how long a super chat can be?
You have to pay to increase its limit, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Make sure the dog go out.
$2
Okay.
like 50 characters or something, and then like $5 gets you 150, like a tweet.
Yeah, I wonder if
Or
there's
tweets
a
are
character
250 now,
count.
aren't they?
Monty, I love you, Monty. You're my dog. Don't fucking blow your nose into my mouth when I'm talking, you fucking cuck. I hate you now, Monty. I
How
hope you
long
get
is
arrested.
Don't say that.
I don't mean it.
From the Babylon Bee, atheist prepares to offer heartfelt thanks to random uncaring universe on Thanksgiving.
1,499 characters. Oh my god. I guess I could just pay Dylan and have him read it in Discord, yeah. But there is no proper amount to raise the character count that high, okay.
Dylan, where do you go where we can't?
Hey, Aquanos, I have something for you.
What?
A super chat came in from somebody called what is this? Spork Glimklig or something.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Aquanos. He says, seeing that dog sneeze into your mouth, it awoke something within him. He's been in your closet for about 2 years, Aquanos. What do you do? Answer
Don't
the
talk.
super chat.
Don't
Answer
talk
the
to
super
me.
chat.
Don't fucking talk to me. You goddamn piece of shit. I'm fucking tired of this.
Caesar, he paid $5, Aquanos. You gotta answer the question.
I'm about to fucking answer him by fucking coming down your throat, Chuck. God, you are the worst. Richter
paid
Richter was the bonus character.
He paid
But
5 Canadian,
hey.
Aquanos. You gotta answer the question. He paid 5 Canadian Tire dollars.
I'm about to pay you with my fucking boot up your teeth.
Good.
God, where's Dylan? When does Dylan get back? I want him to read my
Just
gotta go kill
farmer's
it.
post. Don't say that.
He's gotta go put it out to pasture. He's gonna recreate that scene from Mice and Men.
Please stop.
I'm gonna create that with you.
I tend to the rabbits, I carry the rabbits. And the days go by.
I'm gonna keep on going and they don't stop going.
E-Thoughts are already like making Has-Been Hotel lewd sets and selling it on their Patreons. Out yet, it's just had its like pilot.
Hey Dylan, for the audience, please tell them where they can get the It Came From the Internet Has Been Hotel coffee mugs.
I don't know what that is.
Terrible at marketing.
You're terrible at marketing. But the market medicine to your stomach.
Planchette looked as if the egg in her mouth was an actual baby, and when we took it from her, we were going to crack its head against the wall. She was
You had to
she was horrified of what we were going to do with this egg.
I have a fun fact. That egg in her mouth was the same one that Chris Farley had.
And you know what? She didn't break it. When we got...
It wasn't an egg, Chuck. That was a vomit pooling in his mouth.
Nah, he had a big fucking hard-boiled egg in his mouth. They popped it in, and it released airwaves that replicated the cut version of Shrek, like all of his lines.
So I apologize.
Dude.
I apologize for that detour.
Chuck.
But you know...
You can't say that.
I just did. I don't know what you're talking about.
Someone out there has to be willing to buy something awful, right?
No,
I feel like
there's no one willing
I
to
feel
buy
like
it.
I feel like Null would buy it just for shits and giggles. Like,
You know who could buy it?
who?
Dick Masterson.
That would make sense.
If Dick gave it, damn, that would be really. If he would buy, like, I know he wouldn't care, but if Dick, with all the disposable income he does have, just simply bought the site and then shut it down just to fuck with the people, that would be great. Guaranteed.
The fucking hold on, what is this? Oh, I forgot for a minute that I was streaming. So Devilman sent me a link to the Kingdom Hearts 2 battle theme, and I just started playing it without thinking.
Dylan, look at your super chats.
Oh, hold on, I have to pull it up. Oh, rad. Dylan, you must read the green text I sent you. You have to play the Hollow Bastion music in the background. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me shut my door.
Good.
If you at home send me $5 or more, you can send me any text with any music, and I will read it per your instructions. Hold on. It's fucking loud. In 2006, I was masturbating to Kyrie while playing Kingdom Hearts 2 when my dad busted the door open and started screaming at me because I failed remedial algebra. I paused the screen and tell Kyrie I'm sorry. My dad noticed I was masturbated and started mocking me. What, you masturbating to that Disney game girl again? She's not real, you stupid fuck, but these grades sure are. Get ready for a beating. He grabbed a switch and beat the ever-loving shit out of me. 10 minutes later, there I lay, battered and bruised with sympathetic sound of TV static abuzz. I pause the screen and it's on the scene where Kyrie is talking to Selfie, and I pretend that Kyrie is telling me it'll be alright, it'll be alright. Then I start crying. I pause the screen and I touch Kyrie's hand and tell her that things won't always be like this, and one day I'll move us out far away from this place. My dad comes back into my room, pissed as fuck again because I left the plate of Totino's bathroom sink. He clenches and I flinch, then remember my promise to Kyrie, so I grab my plywood keyblade, unpause the game so Holland Bastion battle music can play, and I charge at my father, Boss Heartless, with Sora, Donald, and Goofy by my side. Everything fades to black. I wake up in my room with the TV screen still on to the sound of my dad laughing downstairs. He's watching Monday Night Football. I cry so hard because I want my life to be like Sora's so bad, but instead it's a fucking trailer trash nightmare. Kyrie, please just speak to me. Nigga, how do you live in a 2-story trailer? Like, come on.
Can you send me that?
The green text?
Yeah, there's a little bit of... There's some continuity errors in that green text, but it's golden.
I smoothed some of them out when I was reading it, but others I tried to maintain for effect. Hold on 1 second.
You're supposed to smooth out your fucking brain.
There we go. I have to reset Discord every once in a while, so your latency stays up. Oh, so here's Navy Guzzler, who, as Aquanaz has explained, I guess is a white knight for Ashley, the girl who ran out? Or is he a white knight for Lowtax in general?
Ashley.
Okay, interesting. Ashley and I have never been anything other than e-buddies. She emailed me years ago about Lowtax and we just kept in touch, mostly talking about our kids. Mainly I just enjoy Lowtax's drama since the days of Sass, which was a spin-off from Something Awful of people who disliked the turn it was taking.
Oh.
Something awful, something sensitive.
Someone points out, this is what divorce attorneys tell women to do if they have an abusive spouse. They get the lawyer's retainer out of the joint account, get to a safe place, and then the attorney files shit. That's my best guess. Now that's interesting, because $3,000 is not a lot of money. Which implies...
You'd be surprised how cheap it can be to retain, though.
So what it implies is two things. One, either Lowtax's business checking account only had $3,000 in it, or two, that was the retainer fee. And if it is the retainer fee, that opens up some interesting possibilities going forward.
I have a few questions. It seems that really just one. The allegations of abuse keep popping up. Is there any evidence to suggest that he is abusive in some form?
No. I personally believe the only thing he's even capable of abusing is Ambien.
Is drugs. Gotcha.
Ambien.
I mean, it really depends.
More like Ambien.
Or the retainer fee. The retainer fee fluctuates heavily depending on what kind of lawyer you're going for. I mean, if this is like a corporate lawyer, then yeah, the retainer fee is going to be higher because just saying I've retained a lawyer in business is very powerful.
Do you think she's going to take the fucking kiwi? Not kiwi.
Here,
something
I
awful?
don't think so. I can't imagine.
So, according to lawyers.com, the average retainer fee for a divorce lawyer, though a divorce may cost up to or exceeding $11,000, the typical retainer ranges anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000.
Oh well, there you go.
So $3,000 is reasonable.
That lines up, and you have to remember that this is happening in Missouri, in kind of the backwoods of Missouri as well, so that any lawyer who's working in this area, their fees are going to be lower because they're not in high of demand. Interesting. I love Lowtax's bitching and trying not to sound MRA when he finally hits the wall of bullshit that women's advantages in custody battles. I love it so much because I remember when he banned anyone who posed questions about some female friend of his who allegedly got harassed by a podcaster or something like that. Her claims were found to be unfounded. Believe all women, bro. Believe them all the way to the poorhouse. Blah, 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 blah.
Paste.
I want to play Pokemon.
Do you?
Yeah, it's just sort of something that I've been thinking about lately. Fingers crossed. I got money coming to me this week. Fingers crossed on Black Friday I can find it like on Amazon for $40. I feel like it's very recent, but I feel like $40 is reasonable.
I mean, the game was already marked down when it came out.
Wasn't it marked down to like 50? I know Walmart was selling it for like 50. I wonder, I also hope there's some Dexit dude who, there's like a bunch of Dexit dudes who got really angry and like returned it, so there's a bunch of used copies out in the wild. But then there's the problem of like Nintendo shit is so expensive by default. Does that really matter?
I don't know.
I'm really happy that there's so many videos on YouTube that are just ambient noises from movies and games that I like.
3 hours of relaxing rain in Jurassic Park.
Sometimes you hear dinosaurs. This one's really good because there's an Easter egg where like 30 minutes in, you can hear Jeff Goldblum's weird laugh. Yes, that. Like out in the distance next to a velociraptor.
You got somebody in chat talking.
Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry. I was spoiling Harry Potter and Madoka Magica. No, I know.
Wonderful.
Buddy, I recognize that. People are dunking on a Navy guzzler. Imagine getting friend zoned by a crack whore. Has Lowtax ever made a good decision? The more I see of what all these site founders and admins are getting up to, the less I can blame Moot for getting out.
Yeah, but didn't he like become friends with Zoe Quinn?
Maybe? Who knows?
Yeah.
Wasn't she involved in some sort of project that fell through? And like
Wasn't it a Chuck Tingle joint project?
No, there was something she was involved in, and later on a developer was like talking about how there was one person who worked on it who was insufferable, and it lined up with it being Zoe Quinn. Who was it? Was it a Sucker Punch thing? I don't think so. Blah, blah, blah. Lowtax is also absolutely butthurt over the fact that Moot was able to create a more popular website than his after getting tossed out of SA. I think he's even more bitter about the fact that Moot was able to cash out on it and get an actual job instead of living on other people's SSI checks for the rest of his life. I wonder if we'll see Noel in a similar situation in 10 or so years. Oh, he's not going to make it 10 years. Some dude in a tracksuit's gonna drop a cinder block on Noel's head. He's gonna die how he lived.
A true Florida man.
Underneath a cinder block. Lowtax went on a rant about Mute specifically a couple months ago because he was butthurt about this one dude's book titled "It Came from Something Awful," no relation, and mentioned that 4chan no longer had anything to do with essay, and that Moot should lose his job over the mass shooting stuff that occurred after he left and happened on another different spin-off site. Great. Let's assume for... Hold on 1 second, actually. 9 people watching. That's a good haul. Good enough, I guess. Could always do better, but you know.
Doing better than Blake?
Yeah. Let's assume for the sake of argument that Lowtax is telling the truth and she's abusing women's haven laws just to take his kid and not have to answer for it. How fucking cucked is he by his forum's population of current year freedom fighters that his daughter has been stolen by an insane abusive bitch with no consequences, and he still has to virtue signal about, but men are still the real problem in society. What next? He'll get hit by a car while crossing the street and tweet from the hospital, "Sure sucks that my spine is broken and I'll never walk again." The women have to deal with man spreading on the train, and that's worse. Am I right, everyone? Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Like, it's always, anytime anyone brings up these issues in any capacity, it's a whole fucking shit show. His spine is already broken. That's why he needs to guzzle wine and buy Ambien from high schoolers. Also, Moot is at least actually an SJW adjacent dude. He doesn't have to fake suck dick like Rich, a conservative who has to suck troon cock to keep himself in box wine. At this point, owning something awful would put you in debt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope the wife and children will live with Uwe Boll. Some people are bringing up the concept of whether or not you can get, like, co-ownership of a Patreon account. I don't know if you can. I would assume you cannot. But I would also assume... I don't know. That's interesting. Savannah!
Didn't she have his bank account?
Will you shut my door? No, she drew a bunch of money out of his business account. But, like... Oh, it's weird. If you gave her half of the Patreon account, you could theoretically just shut down the Patreon account or leave it to her and go open a different one.
Can't do that.
Can you not? Would there be a thing about that? Can I not, if I give my wife half the chicken restaurant, can I just leave her the chicken restaurant and go open a different chicken restaurant?
I mean, you can't, you can't destroy something that's co-owned by somebody.
Okay, but I mean, like, maybe not that, but, like, just open up a second account for a different thing, and then just people naturally navigate over to that.
I don't think you can have 2 Patreons, though. Because I think, from my understanding, Patreon sends off shit like tax information, so...
I guess so.
I mean...
I guess.
It counts as some form of revenue.
It seems like...
Can be taxed
It seems like you wouldn't want half of a Patreon account because there's more foolproof ways to get that money. Planchette, come here, girl. Come here. She's mad at me for taking the egg.
Oh.
Alright, I'm gonna go let her out. Hold on.
Something awful always seems too cynical for me, to be honest.
I don't blame you.
Thank you.
Bloody, bloody, blah. Any woman who is ready to move hundreds of miles, move in and get knocked up by a guy she's only known for a few months, either has a personality disorder or is a gold digger. I'm going with failed gold digger with BPD in Ashley's case. Any guy who marries a woman described as above is just as insane and dumb. Lowtax's bruised ego, substance abuse, and loneliness made him an easy target.
Wait, why would she have boy pussy disorder?
I don't know. I didn't write it.
Oh, borderline personality disorder.
Never heard of it.
And then here's Navy Guzzler. I think, yeah, showing texts he has with Ashley. I'm so worried about the damage he will do to her if he gets any custody. I know he loves her, but I've also watched what he's done with his older kids. They're scared of his anger too. Navy Guzzler. That having been said, I strongly encourage you to talk to someone with professional experience with this kind of thing immediately. Time is of the essence. Her. I didn't even think of that. I think right now he's just confident that he'll be able to punish me. Definitely get to the police. If they ask if you want to talk to a DV counselor, I would say yes. They may also be able to recommend other resources. So, okay, there you go. What is it with people who were successful Web 1.0 site owners turning into such disasters?
Turning into...
They always were.
They were basically trying to do a get rich quick scheme, and they succeeded. Just not very much. Not enough to coast forever. In the early stages of their marriage, she couldn't shit on Megan hard enough for fucking up the kids. Was she lying then, or is she lying now? Oh, those text messages I read out were from 2 years ago. So at least Ashley has been referring to Lowtax as abusive for the last 2 years. No wonder Lowtax stayed in bed all day and ate pills. Sounds like the marriage went to hell within a year of the baby being born. No surprise, bad relationships crack quick under the pressure of a baby, especially when the parents are immature head cases. If I'm understanding this, Ashley was friends with Lowtax's ex-wife. Wasn't her name Megan? She was good friends with Megan's SIL, or is that another Megan? Did Ashley come around to Megan's POV once she was trying to care for an infant with Lowtax? Rather funny if the Leaf wife was teaming up with the Korean wife a year into their marriage to go make police reports against Lowtax.
Hello?
Hello.
What's going on, boys? Dylan's still AFK?
What? What?
No,
AFK? No, I've been... Okay,
What?
I've been here... I've been scared that,
You've been scared?
I was scared that this whole time no one's been able to hear me.
No.
Blah, 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 blah. The only women something awful goons care about are the ones with dicks. You can get away with posting outright misogyny on there as long as you make it clear you're talking about cis women or an assigned female at birth, but TERFs are banned if they say anything that annoys the troons. He should have learned that by now, especially having dealt with Smorky and seen how he abused his girlfriend and used all sorts of SJW talking points to manipulate and confuse her. That's probably what he's trying to do here, but he's not as good at it as Smorky. It's a bit like DSP and Let's Plays. He got in early and built up a fan base before the market was flooded. Plus, he had a lot of other people making regular content for the site. There's not too much that was just him. Lowtax looks like he has trouble remembering who his family members are. Navy Guzzler. This is truer than you know. In the screen caps I have, he does not know what the citizenship status of his daughter is, among other things. He gets other details wrong, too. Whether he is lying or doesn't remember, I can't say. But in at least one case, if he was lying, the truth would have served him better. So I'm leaning towards doesn't remember.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, he's a fucking pill addict shit.
Adderall's a hell of a drug, kids.
So, Dylan, who got shot in your background?
Oh, I don't know. Someone somewhere.
Probably said the N-word.
To another N-word.
Mm-hmm.
If he's right about Ashley relinquishing her Canadian passport in order to apply for U.S. citizenship, then whether Sloan holds Canadian citizenship by descent, in addition to holding U.S. citizenship by birth, isn't clear-cut. Something sensitive did a lot of research into Ashley when she first came onto the scene. She was a hot mess then, and she's still a hot mess now. It would be wise to remember that she's not someone you know in person and get to see interact with others in real life. His daughter would be American because I don't think Leaf Wife returned to Canada to give birth. I'm not sure how he couldn't know that, but okay. Maybe Leaf Wife filed out the paperwork to get the kid dual citizenship? I don't know, but the daughter would still be an American citizen by birth and by her father's citizenship. Weird his wife doesn't have a DL after being in the U.S. all these years. How do you live in Kansas with a child and not drive? Why would she have to relinquish her Canadian passport? You can be a dual citizen of both countries. I wonder why she would have been eager for citizenship instead of just permanent residency. I mean, the only difference is you can vote. If she doesn't have a passport, it's because she lost it or it's expired. She didn't turn it over to the U.S. government. Ashley would have to do some paperwork to apply for dual Canadian citizenship for Sloan. She hasn't bothered to get a driver's license. I can't see her getting all the documents in order for her daughter to have Canadian citizenship, but who knows? Mostly it's people talking mad shit to Navy Guzzler for talking about screen caps without showing them, even though occasionally he does. Lol, you reap what you sow, Lowtax. I've watched you change over the years from Planet Quake dates and we used to be buddies on ICQ. Then you started getting all cocky and arrogant and burned just about every bridge you've had in your life and told a lot of us to go fuck ourselves when we've tried to help you for a long fucking time. You've consistently made a lot of shitty choices over the years with all these women who've been in your life. How you run your forums, piss in every fan and supporter's faces, telling us how much you hate us, how you're constantly begging for money, for stupid shit, and or never actually doing shit about it, despite raking in 10K in Patreon money whenever your funds run low, and so many other idiotic half-baked entrepreneurial ideas that have blown up in your face so many times. You're barely active on the forums. You only pop up when you need money or to do some damage control when you have retards like facts are useless running the place. You dug your own grave and look where you're at. An unemployed man trying to relive his Web 1.0 glory with a soon-to-be divorced, mentally unstable, and unemployed wife. LMAO, get fucked. Powerful.
Like I said, everybody who rants something awful, some sort of a sad rant.
Yeah, I mean, they all thought they were, like, in on the ground floor of the, like, the next wave of, like, huge dudes. And some of them were, and most of them were not. And the ones who were got away from something awful pretty fast. Come here, Planey. Play chat. Come here. Come here, girl. She won't even look at me. She's really upset about this egg. On the subject of immigration, the Violence Against Women Act has provisions for granting permanent residency to women who have U.S. citizen spouses or children and who have been victims of domestic abuse. The abuse angle might just be a way for her to cut ties with Lowtax but remain in the U.S. where her alimony and child support bucks would go farther than in Canada, especially in a place like Kansas. So I guess they did move to Kansas.
First time
That's
I heard
weird.
that.
Why would you go to Kansas? I guess if you're going from Missouri, it's only up.
Being they're pretty cheap here to live. Like, you wouldn't want to be living off of whatever alimony that he'd be given or in fact I don't think so. But a smaller town probably do it. Then again, there's probably more to do in a small town in Kansas, relatively speaking, than there is in a small town in Kansas.
Blah, blah, blah. Some other stuff. Vawa is usually the refuge of mail-order brides. Don't want to be sent back to the country they were so desperate to escape from. I cannot see her being so desperate to stay in Kansas that she'd use it. I could see her using the accusation as a way to try and take the kid back to Canada with her, which would be tough to do otherwise. What's bizarre, they've been married for 3 years, and she doesn't have this all sorted. Usually the green card is all squared away by the first year of marriage. I don't know how she'd even still be in the U.S. legally if she didn't have her papers in order. She would need to have permanent residency for at least 5 years to apply for citizenship. I assume they got married so she could remain in the USA legally, but she'd still be a year or two away from being able to apply for citizenship. Blah, 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 spouses, some other shit. Ooh. Not disinteresting shit, to be honest. But also, you know. Mostly just people discussing hypotheticals and shit. So I'm just going to scroll through some of these and hope we can find some stuff a little sooner. Because we're coming up on 2 hours, so I don't really want to go for a much more time anyway.
I got a dab anyway. Later, guys.
Alright.
Go ahead and dab on your fucking...
Someone clarify something for me. When SA was having its big drama and Lowtax was posting here, I briefly had a conversation with someone called Lady Ambien. Is this her? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've had more interactions with her than Navy Guzzler has. If Ashley makes a formal complaint of domestic violence, they're going to take Richard's guns away, assuming he hasn't already sold them for pill money, of course.
He has guns?
And then someone, second ETA, I looked it up, they won't take his guns, even with a misdemeanor DV conviction or a protective order against him. Alright, I was about to say, maybe Perez was right. Maybe we are seeing the Weeb uprising.
You know, I have 2 guns right here. Want to see them?
Yeah.
No,
guys,
you can't.
Guys, look. Did you see the tweet the fucking War Thunder tweet.
Yeah, the one with all the tanks.
Yeah. Have the rest of you guys seen it?
I'll throw it up on stream.
Oh, I'm gonna post it. I just,
All right,
you know.
we'll post it. I'll throw it up on stream. Right. We're streaming, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah, I saw at yours. Also, some footage came out of David Hayter's Watchmen.
What?
He was supposed to write and he wrote some of the script, but he was also supposed to direct it. And it ended up just not working out, and then Snyder took some of
I think I remember reading about that. But I didn't know that there was like there was anything of it.
Yeah, me neither. Hayter just kind of dropped it out of nowhere today. He was like, hey, by the way, here's some footage from my Watchmen version of Watchmen that never got finished. And then, yes, Zack Snyder just kind of took some of Hayter's script and then worked from there.
What was in the clip?
It's just a scene of, I'm assuming, Night Owl and Rorschach talking. Here it is. Also, it's, yeah. Well, it seems good. I'll just never know.
David Hayter's test footage. Okay.
Alright, here, I'm gonna... doing a watch together, right?
No, I'm just streaming this.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to see this for myself.
Right.
I mean, it's up on stream, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in.
You're about to hop in my boy pussy.
This is impressive. This looks like a real movie.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so it's pretty fun so far.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that dissimilar to the Snyder version either. Like, the lighting is sort of different. It's not as post-processed.
Was watching a movie any good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, that's impressive. Whatever. It's a Watchmen movie. I get why people have problems with it, but I think there's some, like, changes made to it that make the story work a little better.
Right. So, they revealed who it was that lost the Star Wars script. It was fucking Finn. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. I was reading about that earlier, that it was at, like, a house party, and someone, like, stole it from under his bed.
Yeah, and then they gave it to a friend of theirs who put it on eBay, and then, fucking Disney had to buy it back.
That's awesome. How much did they pay?
Yeah. Let me find out.
If they start fundraising for legal costs, they should know he was using the Patreon for IRS problems, not the site. So Lowtax was using the Patreon to pay off his debt, almost exclusively, I guess.
Boyega said I was moving apartments. I left the script under my bed. I was like, I will leave it under my bed, and when I wake up the next morning, I will take it and then move. But then my boys came over and we started partying. It just stayed there, and a few weeks later, this cleaner comes in, finds it, and puts it on eBay for £65.
$65.
Also known as 85 American dollars.
How much did Disney pay for it?
trying to find out.
The electronic bay.
They don't say. There is a really funny thing about Avengers Endgame, though.
What?
They didn't tell them what they told them that the last scene of the movie was gonna be a wedding, so wear a suit.
Oh.
Yeah, because they didn't want anyone leaking how it ends.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
they
amazing.
had to do that, too, because fucking Tom Holland can't help himself.
Yeah, and Mark Ruffalo.
That's great. He's such a little shitheel.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking funny.
Alright.
Dylan, can I be your shitheel?
Sure. Right now I'm just going through this, trying to see... certification of tax lien. Something.
I also witnessed something I've never seen before today. I saw Anderson .Paak get angry.
Best teeth in the game.
Hell yeah. He ripped into another rapper for writing a really honestly shitty letter about Mac Miller.
What was the letter about?
It basically summed up to, yo, you were a pretty cool dude. I miss you. You were a good friend, but I wish you hadn't stolen an album from me and just recycled the sound. Miss you, though.
What did fucking Pac say?
Purely... here, I'll find it. He just, like, it was just a wall of text. Yeah, yeah, he said, here it is. It's this weird thing of why do that to like why post something like that about someone you say is your friend? Also, why now? He's been dead for like a year and a half almost.
Has it only been a year and a half?
Not a year and a half, but it was last September. Like 2018.
I'm not gonna read all that. I get it. I understand
Yeah.
why someone would have a problem with that.
Yeah, especially Pac. Him and Mac were really close. Also, I feel like he felt personally insulted too a little bit because Pac, I think, is on that album.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hello?
You're a sycophant.
You're not. Yeah.
Y'all keep saying Lowtax's family is more important than what happens to the forums. Well, guess what? Hundreds of at-risk people of color make these forums their home. This is their refuge from a society that literally wants to kill them, and you're saying the family drama of a few white people matters more than their black bodies? Miss me with that supremacist shit. I don't care what happens to the Kionkas as long as the forums stay open. Sorry, not sorry. This is what I want you guys to do when I inevitably marry, like, a serial killer.
Oh, it's
I want you guys to be like, you know what, I don't give a shit that Dylan's femur is on the other side of the country from the rest of his body. Okay, this is a Discord for people of color, and it will not shut down.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm sure she has her problem, but is it really surprising that a woman left a guy nearing 50 who was unemployed and massively in debt, who went on a 3-week bender to Utah to fuck his internet girlfriend? This kid is fucked either way, but probably better off away from the guy who lets Smorky watch his kids and is too lazy to do taxes or sign up for healthcare. Lowtax isn't even 45. Yeah, but that's like 90 in substance abuse years.
Hello.
Hello. I hope the next goon wife has longer periods up on the manic pole of her cycle so poor disabled Lowtax doesn't have to worry about chores. But it seems anyone/thing with enough time around him gets dragged down into a stagnant cesspool of dysfunction and depression. Please run as far and fast into Canada as possible, Maple Wife. Only bitter nerves and troondom await you on the other side of the border.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it. Let's see what's going on with the PeePeePooPoo Man.
Nothing. There's nothing going on.
He had...
disappeared.
Oh, he got arrested.
What? What? Smarky?
No, the dude in Toronto who was throwing buckets of shit on people.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they were calling him, the PeePeePooPoo Man. He wasn't hiding his face, he was just wearing like a fucking construction helmet.
Majima, how could you do this?
Mischief and assault with a weapon. Samuel Apoku, 23 of Toronto, 5 counts of assault with a weapon, 5 counts of mischief, interference with property.
I watched Null's stream. He brought up how weird it is that his wife and daughters don't have their immigration papers in order. Some abusive men keep vital documentation away from victims to keep them from being able to get a job or their own bank account or make them scared to go to the police if they're foreign. It isn't a weird coincidence. It is absolutely the norm when the abusive spouse marries someone who's a foreigner. Often they marry foreign women specifically because they are afforded a level of control that isn't possible otherwise. If he were in a normal marriage, his wife would have control over her own ID papers. Oh, my fucking eyes hurt.
I really wish there was another way of the samurai.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. I can't wait to find out the new Yakuza protagonist is also the descendant of an ancient samurai lord.
Please. Did you see they announced, hello? They announced some, characters that are gonna be
Yeah,
in
but
that.
I saw that it was announced, but I didn't want to look it up for obvious reasons.
Alright. I'm not gonna say anything then.
I wonder how many hours in an average day Richard is actually awake and sober. How long does it take to get out of bed and take a piss? Oh, man. It sounds like a variant of Californication, where Californians flee the results of the policies they voted for, then try to do the same thing to the places they moved to. more posts. I came for a visit after we got married and got pregnant. I was so sick throughout the entire pregnancy that I wasn't able to go back to Canada. I have met with an immigration lawyer, but I've been waiting for a birth certificate from Rich for months so we could start the process. January 28, 2018. So, she was anchor babied by Rich. That's what she's saying here.
Oh, Bieber.
He knocked her up and she couldn't go back to Canada because she was sick. It's just crazy that this is even happening. He's got me and he knows it and he's cocky about it. I have no driver's license, no vehicle, no money, no friends or family close by, and his family will not believe what I say. I'll be right back. I need to try and find a cab. Okay. So these are a couple of quick screens about her needing some info from Rich in order to get her stuff rolling. I don't know how that works, so I can't say if it's accurate or not. What I do know is that nothing has changed since then with her immigration stuff. According to Ashley, he would also never help her get their daughter a passport, probably because he knew it was just a matter of time before she left. According to a conversation he had with someone else, he isn't sure what his daughter's citizenship status is, as in whether she has dual Canadian-American citizenship or not. I don't know either. Ashley says not. I did a quick scan on a Canadian government website and it looks to me as though she would be, though. January 2018. That was almost 2 years ago. I think it makes sense now why his daughter was chewing her fingertips off every time she got dropped off at his house. Megan was fucking her up. Sure, Megan. Her daughter would only have dual Canadian citizenship if Ashley submitted a pretty lengthy application to the government for it. Seeing as she couldn't even get her own paperwork sorted, I'm going to assume little Sloane is not a dual citizen, just a plain old American for now. Sounds like she used getting knocked up as the reason to never leave Richard's side again. I've known lots of pregnant women. Some get nasty sick for the first few months. I've never known any to be deadly sick throughout their entire pregnancy. It's a lame excuse, and no doubt ISIS felt the same when she tried to use it for why she overstayed her visa. ISIS spelled ICIS. Not ISIS.
Interesting.
What?
ICIS.
Hmm.
At some point, this dude just stopped putting dinosaur noises in this video, and I'm very upset. Where's the info that one of Lowtax's spawn was gnawing her fingers coming from? It originated from either Ashley or Lowtax. I genuinely can't remember which. Back when Lowtax liked to tell the world that Megan was fucking up his kids. Okay, so that's the end of the thread where we're at with it now. We've been streaming for quite a while. Way longer than I expected to. And I had quite a bit of fun doing it. So, I do plan to do stuff like this again in the future. I'll probably try to keep following this. This is the first, like, internet drama that's actually interested me in a month or two. I've been telling myself I'm going to do a video about some Ethan Klein stuff that I still want to do. I just... Time just slips through my fucking fingers. Where, like, I just gotta find... like, an hour to sit down and, like, watch them. Or, it's not going to be like an it came from the internet thing. It's just going to be me talking about some videos that Ethan's put out that I think are really sad. But I think it's in the same wheelhouse as the other stuff I make. And honestly, I just forget about it. And then when I remember it, I'm in a position where I can't do it. I'm just stupid.
So for this Lowtax stuff, you're gonna side table this and come back to it another point?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep following this. And then, just do streams like this where I'm just streaming me reading people's posts about shit. At some point, something happened to the window capture for the chat, but who gives a shit? And I'm gonna stop streaming. But,
I like your Goldback gif. It's vile.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I love you.